movie. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I'll turn on a random movie, doesn't matter what it is, horror movie, I don't care what it is. It's somewhere. It's just like nonchalantly, like a dude like will like change or something, and he's just flaccid penis is just in front of you.
Look, having the flaccid penis was edgy back in like 1970. You know,
Yeah,
like that was edgy back then. It's not edgy now, but for some reason it's edgy to have beautiful women topless. All right,
yeah.
You know, it's you know, it used to be you went to a horror movie and there were two things you wanted to see. You want to see blood and you want to see titties.
Yep.
And you know, Friday the 13th. I mean, as a teenager, loved those movies. The first time I ever saw some boobies on screen was I was 10 years old and I watched Halloween with my dad. The first one, the John Carpenter one.
Yeah.
And I was like, they put those in movies? And my whole world opened up to me.
Yes, dude. Dude, I watched. Okay, so I was blown away yesterday because I was watching a movie like I do like every off day. And I was watching this horror movie and it's called Suspirion or something. It's about witches, a coven, and like
Suspiria.
Yeah.
Which one? The original, the Dario Argento, or the new one?
The one that is from like 2018 with Tilda Swinton.
Okay, with Tilda Swinton.
Yeah. And you know, I enjoyed it because it was kind of just all over the place. I kind of enjoyed it. It was kind of spooky. But like immediately within the first 30 minutes, like this detective gets bewitched and they just pull down his pants and he has this little tiny like stubby penis. And I'm just like, and it just shows it just shows it for like 20 seconds and they're like flopping, like playing with his penis.
I will counter. Okay. Luca Guadagnino, who directed that, he made this movie called A Bigger Splash. And I think he's the most Italian. He's like the most Italian director out there now. Because even though he's a gay guy, A Bigger Splash just has like tons of these long shots on naked women. Now you do see Ray Fiennes' dick, but he's like all coked up and he's like jumping in the pool skinny dipping. It's like it's you can miss it honestly if you blink. But I was like, okay, after seeing that movie, I was like, I'm starting to suspect maybe he's not gay, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess maybe it's just the artistry because there's something to art in like the attractiveness of the ideal female form that has been lost in a lot of cinema. Of course, it's also used kind of like how it's used pornographically is so boring, it's so trite, and it's messed up. Like, but used in the context of something artistic, you know, it can add a lot of beauty to something. I mean, there's a lot of beauty in Blue Velvet, and like that scene where she shows up. Have you seen Blue Velvet?
No.
Okay, so there's a scene where Isabella Rossellini shows up naked, kind of near to the end of the film, and she starts going hysterical. That like scene wouldn't be as impactful if she wasn't naked, and she was like totally on board with it. And actually, Roger Ebert didn't like the movie because of that scene because he thought that she was being exploited. And it's like, no, she wasn't. She was dating David Lynch at the time, and she wanted to do the role. You know, it's like, are you saying that women can't have agency and saying this works for the scene? Let me do this.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's stupid.
Yeah, speaking of that movie, at the very end of that movie, the original Suspiria, like everybody's naked, like all the women are naked, and because
it looks very much like, and how the cinematography is in that last scene, it looks very much kind of almost like a Renaissance painting of hell in a way.
Yeah, it does. It totally does. Yeah,
and it works into this like painterly aesthetic, and in those paintings, the people would be naked because it's like, I mean, that's how art was. Like, people who get like offended by nudity in movies, I'm like, have you ever been to the Louvre? You know, like you walk around, there's all these massive paintings, these absolutely fantastic works of art, and there's nudity in almost every single one of them. Am I walking around the Louvre going like, I'm offended by this? Oh no, that, you know, that guy can't be naked, that woman can't be naked, this is wrong, put some clothes on, you know, show some modesty. It's like, no, come on. Like, it's not real life.
It's weird, and a lot of it has to do with people worried about getting accused of objectifying women. And then there's also a lot of actresses that get more well known, and they're like, absolutely put it in contract, I'll never do any kind of nude or sex scene. And I'm like,
yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I mean, that's their decision, right? Like, so if they're not comfortable, like not everyone's gonna be comfortable doing it, but some people will. And you know, and so that's fine that an actress says, I'm not comfortable doing this, and then she doesn't do it.
Yeah.
You know, she's not going to pick a role that requires that. There's plenty of roles that don't require it.
Right. 100%. Yeah. But I wish if I was the Hollywood, if I like led Hollywood, I was the president of Hollywood, that would be my requirement. I'm like, every movie, I don't care which movie, Star Wars, titties. I had to have some titties at some point. It's got to be.
Hey, even Avatar 2 had some knobby titties.
There was like every single knobby chick got boobies out, all of them. Like I was like, this is great.
I really don't know how they got away. Maybe it was just because it was CGI. They got away with that PG-13. But also the new Wes Anderson movie, Asteroid City, Scarlett Johansson does full frontal nudity.
Oh yeah,
for all of maybe half a second or a second. It's like a flash, basically.
I'm gonna pause into that shit.
It's PG-13. So it's PG-13 for graphic nudity, which is very, very uncommon. I think maybe the last PG-13 movie to have had that was Chaplin with Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but it's been decades since that's ever been the case.
Yeah, I think the reason Avatar got away with it was because they're technically like an indigenous people, and that's their culture. So like maybe that's why.
It's like how National Geographic can show like documentaries about tribal peoples on TV.
Yeah, and their boobs are everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just nothing but boobs. It's like the titty tribe. They're just all like, and they like got things hanging from them, and they're like dragging the ground and shit. So I'm like, damn.
Yeah.